Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Solana. It's going to be a lower time frame video. We do have a higher time frame video up above, so check that out if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we jump into the lower time frame counts, what we're going to talk about is the two ways that we are looking at this. Now, we could argue that this is a completed corrective move into this low, and we could be looking for a bigger rally to the upside, in which case what we would be looking for would be either this move to develop as a bigger A, B, and a C pattern to the upside. Now, it is possible that we could argue that this is completed into this high already, but until we actually take this low, we need to be respectful that this could look to continue to actually extend to the upside here. Now, within this idea, if we do start to push past $91.24, we could potentially see this develop into a wave 3. The problem that we have here is we need to be careful of the more bearish count here, in which case what we could be saying is that this move is actually completed as a 5-wave structure into the low here, and we are looking for this B wave. Now, the most common target area for a B wave is between this zone of this 45.28 to this 122.41. So if we do see price looking to continue on up here, we need to be very careful of the idea that this B wave could still be in play. Now, even if this move is A, B, and C, we could still potentially see another leg down and then a push back to the upside here, looking to bring us back into this target box before still looking for continuation at a later point down here for our C wave to the downside. Now, given our current high here, 1-to-1 be at this 97-cent region, so we need to be careful of this idea that we could continue to see, this move looking to break down. It is possible we could be starting to build it from this current point, but we do have some other counts which could indicate that we still have to push up even within this idea before we push to the downside. Another way we were discussing this is looking at this move as a bigger WX. This is A, B, and C. Once again, same idea in play here. We'd be looking for a C wave to the downside. This, however, would be looking for a push down towards us $6.06, and would actually be looking for a 1-to-1 of this Y wave here towards us 478 region. So that would be what we are looking at for the two bearish counts, and then what we want to see for that bullish count is basically a move up past this zone of this 91.24 for additional confirmation of this idea. Now, we're going to come in here and we're going to focus in on this move. We're going to discuss some of the lower time frame ideas. Now, within this idea here, what we'd be saying is that more locally here, this move to the upside, we can look at this in a few ways. So we discussed this in previous videos, saying we could be looking for something here like a bigger diagonal pattern, where effectively what we'd be saying is that this is a 3-wave move where we have a diagonal A, B, and C up into this high, looking for a 3-wave move back to the downside. Now, our common target area for this, we've actually come into this 618 area. Now, we do have potential to move down towards a 786 or even possibly a little bit lower, but we don't really want to see a sustained break below this 1562. Now, the idea here would be that what we'd be looking for is effectively a double zigzag into this low, and then looking for another 3-wave move up in this wave 3. Now, the idea here would be we'd get 535, then we'd get another 3-wave move down, and then another 3-wave move to the upside here, forming this as a diagonal, which could then look to push us a little bit higher here, looking for this 1-to-1 level. So I'm just being mindful that as long as we hold this low, this 1282, we could potentially see something like this actually push to the upside in this way. Now, it is also possible here that we could have something more along these lines, where what we could say is that instead of counting this as a diagonal into here, with this being ABC, we could argue this is 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This would become our 4th wave, and then we have this as our 5th wave. Now, in this case, that would mean that we have this as a potential C wave or an A wave. If this is an A wave, once again, the idea would be that we'd have to protect this low here of this 1282, and then we'd need to see this actually looking to push to the upside in the C wave. Once again, target box area for this as a support zone, we've already come into the golden pocket. Some other zones that we have here is this zone lower down of the 786, which would be quite an interesting area if we do move down here because of this low towards this 1564. It would also be looking to interact with a few of these other levels here, so it could be quite an interesting zone if we do see an additional push to the downside here. The $16 region to this 1566 could be quite an interesting zone to keep an eye on if we do continue to see price looking to push down. Now, if we do hold the support zone, we can look to potentially rally in this bigger C wave here, what I would be looking out for would be that if this move is extending, we could then see the possibility of moving up towards this 1618 level, which would be the 7688, and then this would then put us in line for an additional fourth and a fifth. And what this would then mean is from further back here, we have another 1, 2. This would all become our third wave, and then we would be looking at that more bullish idea of a bigger extension to the upside here. Now, within this idea of seeing this B wave playing out here, there's a couple of ways that we can look at this. Now, within this, we could argue that this is a bigger W, X, Y, X, and a Z, in which case we could potentially be close to completion. It is possible we could complete into this low, but I'd need to see a break back above $22.09 to actually get confirmation of that. At the moment, the way that I'm looking at this move more locally here is that we have, this is an A wave, this is a B wave, and what we're looking for is that this move here is 1, 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we'd be looking for an additional fourth and a fifth wave to the downside. So this is the blue count here. So if we do continue to hold below this zone of this 1878, we do not cross this level here, which would be our invalidation 1917, then we can look for that possibility. We have one more push to the downside to the 1709 to the 1660 level. This would align with the idea of just having a three wave move to the upside here, and then that continuation down. Now, looking at the structure here, we need to be a little bit careful because this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like a diagonal here, but this doesn't have great structure. It is also possible this could just become A, B, and C, or W, X, Y, and we see one more push to the upside before pushing down, and that would still align with this idea. So until we actually break back above this 1878, it does look like we're geared for some more downside here. Some other targets I'd be keeping an eye on would be this 1236 at this 1715, and then even this 1.618 level lower down here. This target box that we currently have would align with coming into the 0.786 of the W wave higher up. So we need to just be on the lookout for this. What we do need to be careful of is we have actually met the minimum requirement here of coming into this 0.618, but for us to actually, have more evidence that this low is going to be a substantial low, we'd first need to start to see a 5-wave move to the upside there, a 3-wave move down, and then looking for that continuation up. I'd want to see a break back above this channel line, which is sitting here towards this 2023 level. Until we actually break out of the channel, we need to be careful of that continuation to the downside still. Now, it is also possible what we could have here is that this move could be extending out, where this is WX and then this is AB, and then we're looking for a C wave to the downside. Now, within this idea of having this as a C wave, at the moment we just have 3 waves. We have A, B, and C to the downside. Now, this is not what we want to see. We want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if we do set another low here, it is possible that this could actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we could actually look for a bigger rally to the upside. Now, given this current move up, our target for a 5th wave would be between this zone of this 1702 to this 1651, and then we could potentially look for that possibility of a break to the upside. But until we actually start breaking above these X waves of this 2539, we need to be careful of that continuation to the downside. We have done enough here, we just don't have enough good structure here. If this is just corrective, and like I said in the other example, we could have this as a W here, this is an X, and then this is a Y wave. It is possible that we could complete into this current area, but we'd need to see price looking to push to the upside in a bigger way. So that's what we would want to see here. If we're looking for that impulsive structure, we need to start seeing 5-wave structure developing here, holding these lows and starting to see rallies looking to break back above these highs here, and actually looking to break out of this descending trend line that we've got going on here. So we're going to go over that in a second. Now, another way that we could discuss this whole move here is actually saying that potentially we are still within the B wave. So within this idea of this being A and B, it is still possible we could be within this B wave, and it's actually just looking to move more sideways. Now, within that idea, what we'd then be saying is that this move could become a flat correction. Now, this is viable as long as we look at this as ABC. If we want to look at this as a 5-wave move into this high, then it is no longer viable looking at this as a B wave. We'd have to say that this would be our ABC. in this way, in which case we did actually move up into the most common overshooting area for a B wave, which is between this 3548 to this 2678 region. And what we'd then be looking for would be a C wave to the downside. Now the C wave to the downside would be looking to target out some of these lower support zones here. You can see here that the red box area here of this 1279 to this 960 level would align with actually coming back into this 0.618 level to this 0.786 level, which would then, you know, still align with this potentially becoming an A, B, and a C to the upside. The problem I have with this is that if we're looking at this as an A wave, in relation to the A wave, this B wave is getting really big if that's the case. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see how we react. Another zone I'm going to be watching out for here is this 1526, because if we're going to get something like a running flat here where this is A, B, and C, and we're not going to get the C wave actually looking to break down underneath the zone here, what we could actually see is that we could fall short because this aligns with that 50% level. Going to be keeping an eye on the idea of actually seeing a retest of this level here, or some of these higher zones like we talked about previously, which would align with coming towards that 50% zone. Now, the only way that it would potentially look to fall short in that way would be looking at this move as a diagonal pattern. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying more locally here is that this move here is A, B, and C for wave 1. We have this as a wave 2. We have this as A, B, and C for wave 3, and we're looking for this wave 4. Now, within this idea of the diagonal, what we'd be saying is that we need to see A, B, and C. I'll be keeping an eye on this trend line here of this 1912, and given the current structure that we've got over here, what I would be looking for as a potential target would be this 1-to-1 level here of this 1919. Some other zones of interest could potentially be this 786 level of this 1886, and also looking to potentially move back up into these lows here towards this 1920 sort of level. So that would align with that 1-to-1. So if we do see price just looking to form A, B, C, and we fail to break through this, and we see another 3-wave move to the downside in this 5th wave, potentially this would make the diagonal come into play here, and we could then look for the possibility of a rally to the upside afterwards. Now, if we do develop a diagonal like this to the downside, this can be either a C wave, a wave, or a wave 1. So if this is a C wave, what we'd expect is price to push back up here and take this high. If this is an A wave or a wave 1, what we'd then be looking for is that this would become A wave, we'd get a B wave and a C wave, or that 1, 2, 3 idea. So this is why we need to be a little bit careful about this structure developing in this way. If we do get 3 waves back up and 3 waves back down, this opens up the potential of this diagonal pattern. Now, within this other more bearish count here, what we'd be saying is that this is actually developing as a 5-wave move that just hasn't fully formed. And what we'd be saying is that, you know, this 5-wave structure is still looking to play out. Now, what I would want to see for more confirmation is a move down past 1440, and we'd be saying that this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and then basically we're still within this blue count. So we're going to come in a little bit closer here onto the hourly, and we're going to discuss this internal. Now, within this idea, what we'd be saying is that more locally here, we have this blue count in play where this is 1, 2, and then we're looking for this as a bigger 3rd wave to the downside. Now, the most common target area here that we look for a 3rd wave is this 1539. So we'd want to see a move down towards that level. Now, within the white count here, we'd have another 1, 2. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what we'd be saying is that 1874 is going to be our higher line in the sand here for this wave 4. If we remain below this level, we could start to see another 5-wave move develop towards this 1702 to the 1651. Now, the key thing I want to see here is that if we are extending and this is 1, 2, and we're looking for a wave 3, I want to see 1620 actually get hit here, and then we could be looking for an additional 4th and a 5th wave. Now, you can see how if we hit this 1620 and we get another 4th and a 5th, this is going to make it very plausible to hit this 1539. And once again, if we hit that 1539, this then makes it plausible that we will then hit this yellow target here of this 1440. So if we do see this, what we'd be saying is that this would be 1, 2, 3 down into that zone 4 and 5. and then we'd be looking for another fourth and a fifth. So it's going to be key here. If we are developing this as an impulse, I'd be expecting to maintain below this 1960 level. This would be our invalidation of the yellow count that we've got over here, and I'd want to see us hit this 1620. If we fail to do so, we need to be very careful of that possibility. We could start to see a bigger push to the upside here, and then, you know, if we are looking at that more bullish case, this could actually then become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or alternatively 1, 2, and then we're looking for a much bigger rally to the upside because we're right in that support zone. There's nothing really at the moment indicating that we are looking to break to the upside. Looking at the structure, the only way that I would potentially look at it and as a possible breakout situation would be, you know, if we start to see price looking to push above 2013. Until we see something like that, need to be careful of this more bearish situation here, where this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and this was going to be the easiest one to get an invalidation of, because 1916 is going to be the invalidation of that point. Until we do, we need to be careful that this could just be fourth, and then we get this fifth wave down towards a 1702 to the 1651 zone. So this is what I'm looking out for more locally. If we do continue to hold below this 1874, the likelihood is that we are still looking for another push down. This works for both of these counts here, whether we're looking at this as this complex correction here, where this is A, B, and C, and we're still looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're still looking for that potential of having one more low come into play here, and then depending on what happens after that, if we are looking at the impulse, we would be expecting a move down towards a 1620, then seeing a three-wave move up, and then more continuation down. If we are looking at this corrective idea here, what we'd be saying is that we're going to see this move actually look to complete down into this point here, and then we could be looking for a bigger rally to the upside. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is that we are currently above these central lines here, which is sitting at this 1817 to this 1799. Now, if we do continue to hold these central lines, what we could see is the price could be gravitated back towards this higher R1 line here of this 1860. Other targets I'd be watching would be this zone of this 1880, which would align with coming into this high. If this is just a corrective move, we could see a three-wave move here and then start to see price breaking down. If, however, we're looking to actually trend up here, other targets for today would be 1930, 1983, and this 2052 as potential upside targets. If, however, we start to reject in this zone and we start to lose these levels, we'll be looking out for the potential to move down towards a 1757 as a test of the previous day low, and then other targets down would be 1738, 1687, 1617, and this 1564 as potential downside targets for today. Now, having a look at the weekly pivot points here, what we can see is that we are underneath our central lines here. We have also had an interaction with these, so we tested the central line here, we've tested the lower line here. If we continue to reject off of this, we could see price move back down here. Targets would be this area here of this 1721, 1610, and this 1437 as potential downside targets for this week. If, however, we start to see price looking to gravitate back up in these levels and we've moved through this potential resistance zone of 1854, 1891, 1921, we could see price move up towards this 1995. We have 2167 and this 2274 as potential upside targets for this week. Now, moving over onto the monthly CPR lines, we can see that we actually had an interaction here on our bottom line and we've moved back down towards our S1 line. If we do start to see price looking to move back up here, we start to rally, I will be looking out for the possibility of finding rejection again at this 2059, 2149, and this level here of this 2236 as possible upside targets. Now, if we do, however, start to continue to break down here, targets to the downside still open for this month would be 1553, 1167. Now, if we do manage this month to get back above these central lines, we could potentially then look to target some of these higher levels, 2362, 2746, and this 2957 zone. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.